Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my channel. I'm an affiliate painter for Redgrassgames and also the head mecha and sci-fi painter for Vallejocolors. I write painting articles for Fine Scale Modular magazine. I also write articles for Fantasy Figures International magazine. Lastly, if you're into Gunpla, do use my discount code for usagundamstore.com. Links down below. Today we paint this art toy from ARTToysPH. This is my own little way of supporting my local fellow Filipino artists, but I'm kinda busy, so I'm allotting an hour in painting this art toy. I love turquoise, so we're mixing turquoise with imperial blue from the Game Air range, so we come up with a brighter imperial blue. Oh, by the way, watch until the end of the video because this video has a tip time. I mix the colors roughly 1:1 and then mix it with my thinning sauce roughly around 3 parts paint and 1 part thinning sauce. You'll kinda notice in the painting that I'm rushing a bit because I want to finish this within 1 hour, and I was kinda painting it thickly but still thin but still thick for my style, so I'm using the hair dryer a lot to speed up the process, the painting process, and so that my paints won't run around the model because I'm painting it a bit too thick. So I applied the imperial turquoise in 3 thin coats and then always using the hair dryer to speed up the drying time, and then we come up with this one. I kept the angle at a certain angle because this will represent like the moonlight. So let's proceed. Also, as you've read on the thumbnail, this is a basic OSL painting tutorial. Now we're painting with German red brown. This will represent like the drop off of the light coming from the hand, the right hand. So we're painting it over a certain direction only, especially on the face and on the right hand. I always thin primers 1:1 with my thinning sauce. So this red-brown represents the drop-off because when you have a source of light, that could be like ivory, really intense light, or yellow, and then as it goes farther from the source of light, it will get darker. Like the dark red, for me at least, is like the darkest drop of color from a source of light, from a warm source of light. Also notice there's a sort of black like in between this color and the blue color. That's crucial. Don't blend that because that happens in real life. There will be like a black band across 2 sources of lights because they're like competing for the coverage of the model. Now we're painting with pure red, a primer again, so thin this 1:1 with my thinning sauce. We want maximum coverage, that's why I'm using primer. Apply the red primer in 3 thin coats. I'm not sure, I think I applied it in 5 really thin coats and then use the hair dryer as I paint in between the layers. Make sure you do that because you'll build up really ugly texture if you repaint in like 1 heavy coat or 2 heavy coats. As you can see, we're painting and simulating the source of light from the hand again by painting the knees and the shoe parts, but this is the same setup, like 0.4 needle at 20 psi. Just have to control your airbrush. Now we paint turquoise, one of my fav colors. We're painting it like along a certain direction, a certain area only of the blue parts, because it will be the intense light coming from the moon, and you don't spread this color because basically this is the highlight color of the blue already. This mecha color turquoise was thinned 3 parts paint and 1 part thinning sauce. Notice the purple in between the colors. We'll exaggerate that later in the video. Now we paint with hot orange. This is a beautiful color, but it's a bit transparent, so much like any orange and yellows. So you need to build up like really thin layers. Even if you don't want to build up to thin layers, you have no choice because the paint is thin as it is. So thin this paint around 5 parts paint and 1 part thinning sauce, and as you see in this video, this is actually like the 6th layer already. Now we paint sun yellow, the dreaded yellow paints. Yellows of any color range or even any kind of paint, I think, are very, very transparent, and you don't really have to thin them as much as the other paints. This is roughly around 6 parts paint and 1 part thinning sauce, and then painted it thinly in like maybe 8 layers until I came up with what I want with the color. So you all know my painting style is basically painting it in really thin layers. So this is around 8 layers already, but very thinly painted on the model. It's producing a really nice transition with the other colors, with the previous colors, and it's super smooth at this point. So I got a comment at Facebook. It's a compliment actually. He asked if it's a 3D render, and I said it's like airbrushing on a resin model. So I thought of adding a bit of texture. You'll see it in the latter part of the videos. Why? Because this is an art toy, and I feel like being too smooth is not artsy. So anyway, these are my collection of highlight paints, the white, ivory, ghost gray. Awesome paints, you should get them because you will be using them in a lot of your projects. Also, we're going to use light turquoise and blue green for the highlights of the blue parts, and some yellows, and then we'll build up more highlights and we'll make it a bit more textured so that you could see my brush strokes so that it looks more artsy. First, we use ice yellow. We're painting ice yellow over the ice. Later, you'll see I'll be painting ivory, like a dot of ivory on the ice so that it will be the extreme, like glowing part of the light of the ice. So that's basically it. We're painting the ice, and then after painting the ice, we're using scrofulous brown, a semi-opaque yellow color. We're adding it to the hand so that it's pure like yellow, and then also making it more opaque in terms of being yellow. So basically, I need the right hand to be super yellow because it will be the source of light other than the eyes. So it should be yellow, solid yellow. And then after that, I'm painting like reflections on the tooth or the teeth with ivory and ice yellow. So it's building up like highlights within the main source of light, which is the right hand. So we're painting along the edges of the hand and making it so that painting it so that it looks like it's glowing a bit. So we're painting a bit of highlights with scrofulous brown over the cloth part so that it will be like more intense than the other parts, the waist parts. And then now we're using ivory to paint over the eyes and more extreme highlights. I think I painted like ivory around the tooth too, but just the extreme highlights, it's not too obvious. Also, I highly recommend you kind of mix your paints in terms of like doing transitions so that the transitions will be smooth, like paint one part of the previous color with one part of the next color, so you will have like nice smooth transitions without much effort. Once you're happy with the highlighting of the yellow parts, now we're going to paint the highlights of the blue parts. We're using blue-green from model color and light turquoise. So now we also use ghost gray. It's an awesome color. It's like bluish white color. It's the equivalent or like the equivalent of ivory in terms of the cool white colors. So we're just painting around the highlights of the shoes and then the other cloth parts and the other parts of the model so that we bring out more details, because we cannot do that with the airbrush. There's too much overspray, so we're hand painting some edge highlighting and highlights to bring out like the sculpt of this art toy. As you can see here, I'm like painting in swift strokes so that it looks artsy, and because I'm not really happy with the very smooth airbrushing. It's an art toy, I feel it should look artsy and hand painted, so we're painting it like I'm not really focused on the blending and all that. I want people to see my brush strokes. So there, we're basically flip-flopping between putting highlights on the blue parts and the yellow parts, but I'm most focused on the face because it's kind of funny if the face is not the most prominent part of the model, because that's so wrong in many ways. So we're painting a bit more on the face part. Now it's tip time, so I'm going to share a few tips on painting OSL and painting an art toy. Red purple. Any red purple paint is the best like shadow color for this kind of painting, because it's going to like transition the blue color, the moonlight color, into the warm color of the fist or the hand. So red purple for some reason is like the best color for glazing over those parts, so that you don't have like a black band across the division from the blue color and the warm color. So this is the perfect color. You should get this color whatever paint you use. It's going to be perfect. I'm glazing it over, like thinned it with a lot of water and glazing it over the blue color and the warm color. The red purple shadow simply gives the model a better, like more vibrant look rather than just sticking with black. Also, also you should check out like clear, transparent paints from Vallejos. They're awesome paints. They're awesome for glazing. Just add more water and then use it to like blend all your painting. So now you could see here I'm adding a bit more like kick or oomph to the colors, to the orange, because it was semi like diluted or desaturated by the yellows. So adding like layering of transparent colors will bring out all the colors again. Last tip would be to buy more Vallejo colors. Just kidding. Basically, last tip is to use more colors in your painting. If you've noticed, like you could mix certain two colors like the turquoise and the imperial blue, and also mix the red and the yellows to come up with oranges. So basically, you don't have to buy all the colors, but you do need to mix intermediate colors so that you produce like very smooth transitions. Some people, I'm not saying it's wrong, it's like painting the model red and then getting a white or a yellow paint and then trying to really control the airbrush and come up with smooth transitions. So that's difficult. You need the more skill level with the airbrush and the thinning of the paints. So the more paints you use in airbrushing, the smoother your transitions will be. It's like basically it's like hand painting or brush painting. The more color transitions, the more intermediate colors you use, the smoother the transition will be, even if you're using an airbrush. That's it, we're done. I hope you liked the video. Do like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining the channel so that you'll be part of our Discord community. Saludos! I am Don. Welcome to my channel.